Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking. In this video we'll be making a mermaid skirt, and I'm going to be attaching this to a top part. So I folded my fabric into two. To know what to fold your fabric with, you are going to divide your hip by 4, and then you add from 5 to 8 inches to that measurement. That is what you use to fold your fabric, and then you're also going to add your seam allowance. So it depends on how full you want it. For instance, my hip measurement is 36 divided by 4 is 9 plus 8 inches, that is 17 inches. I also added 1.5 inches for seam allowance, giving me 18.5, which is what I use to fold my fabric. So first thing I want to do is to draw the waistline. From that waistline I measured 8 inches downwards. I measure 18.5 inches because I will use half an inch to attach this skirt to the upper part of this dress. And for my nail line, I measured 18.5 inches from the waistline because I'm also going to use half an inch to attach this lower part to the upper part of my dress. And for the full length of the skirt, I'm marking 42 inches. So you're going to take your body measurement and mark your own unique body measurements on your fabric. So I marked 43 inches and I'm going to use the remaining you saw there to fold. So I'm just marking out this line so that I will know where to mark my measurements. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7.25. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that on the waistline. And then I'll mark 1.5 inches for seam allowance. You can use 1 inch for your seam allowance, depend on what you are comfortable with. I just decided to add 1.5 to this one. So on the hip line, I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 9 inches. My hip measurement is 36 divided by 4 is 9. So I'll mark that on the hip line. I'm also going to mark 1.5 inches for seam allowance. Alright, so I'm going to take the entire measurement I have on the hip line. So I marked 9 inches before plus 1.5 inches, that's 10.5 inches. So whatever I have on that line, I'm going to minus 1.5 inches and then I'll mark that on the new line. Okay? So the measurement on that point is not going to start exactly on the new. I just call it new line. Okay, so you take it up above your new so that the flay will start from that lower part. So on that hip line, I marked 2.5 inches downwards, and then I'm going to curve that to the point where I have my 18.5 inches, which is my new line. Note that this is not exactly on my new, it is above my new so that I'll be able to walk. If I place it on my new directly, I won't be able to walk well. So after that, I'll just connect this to my waistline. So we are done with the upper part. You're going to cover the hip side so you don't have any sharp edge around that corner. So what I'm going to do next is to grab my long ruler, and then I'm going to connect from the new line to the hem of the fabric, to the edge like this. So I'll place my ruler slant like this. Let me bring it closer so you see. I'm going to make sure that my ruler is placed on that new point, on the joining point there, and then I connect it to the hem of the fabric, just like this. So this is how you get your edge shape skirt. So the higher the number you added on the lower part, the higher the more volume the dress will have. So here I have my waistline, my hip line, the knee line, and the hem line. Note again that that point I call the knee line is not directly on my new. It's about 3 to 4 inches above my new length, okay? Above my new. So after marking all of that, I'll go ahead and cut this out. Please don't mark that measurement directly on your nail. You come up by 3 to 4 inches, because if you mark it on your nail, you won't be able to work well with the dress. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out the excess I have on the upper part, and this is what I have for the front panel. It's just very easy to cut this mermaid skirt. You can see the lower part, how wide the lower part is. So I'm going to fold and use this front panel to cut out the back panel. So what I did was to fold exactly what I have for the front panel and then added 1.5 inches for zipper allowance. As you can see here, I added 1.5 inches to attach my zip to this skirt. Okay, so what I have here is 1.5 inches, as you see. So I'm just going to cut this pattern out. So the only difference between the front and the back panel is the zipper allowance. So you can add from 1.5 inches, from 1 inch to 1.5 inches to attach your zipper or whatever you're comfortable working with. Okay, so for mine, I added 1.5 inches. I really do not know. I'm just adding a lot of allowances on this outfit. So after cutting it, this is what I have for mine. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the top part just the way I did for the front, so that both the front and the back will be equal. Okay, so after removing that, I'll go ahead and notch the zipper allowance I have, so that when I take it to the sewing machine to sew, I know where my zipper is. I'm going to also notch the lower part, the zipper allowance on the lower part. And after that, I will just go ahead and cut this back panel into two. Okay, like we'll have 2 panels for the back and 1 for the front. So I'll just cut this into 2, and that is basically it on how to cut a mermaid skirt. Is very easy, although I went ahead and added a slit to the front panel of this. You can decide to do your slit at the back, you can decide to leave it without any slit, but I decided to add a slit to the front panel of mine, as you already saw in the pictures. So that is it. Here I have the 2 back panels and 1 front. So what I did also was to cut out the lining and stitched it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.